Call to order this meeting of the City of Siloam Springs Planning Commission for Tuesday, May 13th, 2025. Roll call, please.
T. Williams.
Here.
Sally.
Here.
McKinney.
Here.
Thomas. Sutton.
Here.
Renard.
Here.
K. Williams.
Here.
Thank you.
If you would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First item of business. Commissioners, everyone received a copy of the minutes. Are there any questions or comments or corrections? If not, I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes pass. First up, development permit approval. Rezone development permit RZ 2502. Mr. Rhoads.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Planning Commission. Ben Rhoads, Senior Planner. So before you is a rezoning request. This is a request that you guys looked at, I believe, in January. Not 100% sure which month that was, but I believe it was in January this year. It was at the 400 block of Meadow Court. At that time, the rezoning request was going from A1 to R4, which is the multifamily zoning. The applicant is now returning back to the Planning Commission with a different proposal, this time going to R3, which is two-family. It is 2.18 acres. The reason that they're coming back was that submittal previously for the R4 was denied by the City Board of Directors in March this year. Future land use map will also need to be amended to allow for a duplex. So just a reminder, I know it's been several months now since you looked at this, so you might not remember all the details of it, but the project site is shown on the left there. These are the same pictures from the last time we looked at this. So, as you can see, the request is basically an open field at the end of the existing apartment complex. And with the first bullet there, when they're rezoning to this, it will only allow for one duplex for the entire property. There was some confusion about that at the board, and just want to make sure that's clear to the Planning Commission that zoning, there's a really sharp change between R3 to R4. R4 really allows for many more units. R3 just limits to one duplex per lot. And since this is an existing lot, it only has one duplex allowed. As I mentioned, that R4 did fail at the Board of Directors. The site is as shown there on the left, open field. There is some existing single family on the sides, as you can see there, the picture on the bottom right. You can see the single family house in the far distance there. That's looking to the north. If the rezoning is approved, the applicant's intent is to come back at a later date to subdivide the property into smaller lots that would potentially allow for additional duplexes, but we don't have any proposals at this time of any particular orientation or lots or how that would look like. As I mentioned before, when this went through last time, it is accessible only through the apartment complex. There's not availability for side entrance or anything like that because it's essentially hemmed in from the north and south by existing development. The future land use map would need to be amended to allow for the duplex or two-family. Otherwise, we are finding no major issues in terms of the land use for going to R3. And here you see the future land use map. to show neighborhood 1 for the entire area. And we did highlight there the duplex showing is not appropriate, so that's why we're looking to, you can get that map amended. And with that, we're available for any of your questions. Thank you.
Ben?
Thank you, Ben. Let's hear from if there's anyone.
Excuse me.
Is there anyone in the audience that has any questions or comments? If not, commissioners? Tony?
Well, Ben, I'm even more confused on this one this time than I was the last time. When it came before us before, I thought this was to be an expansion of the apartment complex. And now, we don't know what they're gonna build on there, I guess, or how many lots it'll be subdivided into, or how they're gonna get access and egress other than through the apartment complex. So,
That would be correct. I mean, what you're approving today is the allowance of a duplex on this property.
how many duplexes?
1, so 2
One.
units total. Now, if they wanted to split it later, that would come back before the commission as a preliminary plat. But today, you're just looking at the zoning of the property.
And there's no plans for any other entrance or egress other than through the apartment complex, correct?
That would be correct. Yeah, there's only one way in and out. So as you can see on the map there, you see there's development on the north and south sides of the red box. So you could, in theory, get to it coming from the east, but that's all privately owned property, so there's really no way of knowing whether they could get access that
Right.
way or not.
Right, okay.
Mr. Chairman, I think what this is him coming back to us. I was reading the conditions and staff findings, and Tony, they were saying the full development of the property will require that the meets and bounds parcel is platted. So that would have to go through something. I think he's just trying to get something on this land. If you remember when he was here before and we were trying to do R4, he even said, he came back up before the board and he said, I'll put whatever you want me to on here. He just wanted to build something on it because it's a part of what he's already developing. But it was A1 agricultural. So he's just trying to get something built on it so he has some income from that piece of land that's part of that whole apartment.
We're getting the cart before the horse here.
I mean, that's just how I remember it from when we was here before, yeah.
I know the board has ultimate authority here, but can you just give us a Reader's Digest version of the reason that they weren't comfortable with R4?
Yeah, there was quite a bit of discussion at the city board after you guys had reviewed it at the planning commission. I think the major concern, and this is sort of the issue with Euclidean zoning, is that you don't have a lot of predictability with the zoning. Yes, you're looking at land use, but when you zone to R4, that allows a large menu of options for a developer within their rights. And so what the concerns were is, even though the developer was saying, well, we just only want to have, I think it was 6 to 8 different duplexes or townhomes, there was no guarantee that that would actually be what could be built. And ultimately, it could, I believe, go up to 32 units or something to that effect, based off of the size of the lot. And the board just was concerned that there was no way of really knowing whether that was going to happen or not. And by allowing the R4, they're allowing a lot more development at the end of that street. And I think there were some concerns about traffic and some other ancillary issues that come with density, as you know. So I think that was generally what the concern was. And I think there was sort of kind of an agreement that, that they would probably come back later with a different proposal that could be more amenable to what the board would want. But I'd be happy to defer to other staff if they want to add on to my comments.
That's very helpful. Thank you, Ben. I appreciate you kind of rehashing that. It just seems like a extreme swing to go from that potential to 2 units. I just don't know how you make the economics work on that, so I can't imagine we won't be looking at a lot split. So.
Well, you will, yeah.
I have a question. If they can't cut through the apartment complex, is that locked and landlocked?
Yes, I mean, the only way you can really legally get to the property is through the apartment complex, if I understand what your question was, but I think.
They are allowed to go through the apartment complex.
Yes, I would believe so, yeah.
Can that be terminated?
Access.
Yes.
And that access be terminated is what he's wanting to know. Is that
Can
like
the
privately
access
owned
be
and
determined, or?
be terminated?
Terminate,
Like,
okay, I-
is it privately owned where they could say, no, we don't want them to be able to get to that point?
I think that's getting in the realms of more legal, because I think, people have a right to be able to get to their property in some form or fashion. Typically, it's through a private access easement. Even if there's not one filed, there's what we call prescriptive easements that would be and generally allowed to get to someone's property. But I don't know if other staff would like to comment on that, whether someone can be completely landlocked out of their own property or not.
Can I comment on the status of the access for the property?
Certainly.
Okay. Meagan Thomas, current planner. Actually, before they submitted this rezoning request, I had spoke to the applicant about the access for this property, and they were supposed to be working with the property owner to the west to acquire that access. That's something that will have to be dedicated per the plat when that comes through, whether that's a preliminary plat or, final plat, or a lot split plat or a minor subdivision, but it'll have to be dedicated with that plat. And I don't believe that they have figured out that situation and gotten that dedicated at this time, but that's something that will have to be worked out.
That's from the west, not the.
Right, that's from the west where the drive is currently. Okay.
Megan, is Meadow Court not a dedicated city street?
It is not, no.
It is not?
No, there's portions of it that is right of way that connects at Mount Olive, but it's private from there.
I mean, if I may, Mr. Chairman, I think what happened is this was all privately owned property, and it was developed piecemeal over time as the Meadow Court Apartments, as a typical apartment complex with the driveway that comes in. And then the original owner decided to sell or whatever that last piece, and that the ownership changed from the original apartments for that last piece that's circled there or in the square. So that sometimes can happen where then they really need to probably have thought about that upon purchase for the new owner to make sure there's legal access to it. It could have been a handshake deal. I haven't researched it in depth to know the specifics of it, but that very well probably might have been what happened. So.
Right, but Megan's explanation that that would have to be settled before anything could be done makes sense. Any other questions or comments? Is that a good enough answer? Does that make sense? Okay.
I guess my comment, Mr. Chair, I guess my comment still just is, I don't understand his rush to put one duplex on this acreage. I mean, I understand he wants to do it, and he talked about that before, but instead of waiting and trying to get it subdivided and so forth, it seems like this needs to be built first, or that's the impression I'm getting. And I don't really understand why not wait and bring us the whole process and the whole plat and everything.
It's
I just
my
don't-
understanding it has to be rezoned before
It
the,
has to be
That's
rezoned
correct, yeah.
first. So we should forget about the fact that it's just a duplex and rezone
right,
it.
correct.
Is that how you see this?
Yes, Megan.
Can I say something? So depending on how many lots they're trying to create, the process for it is longer the more lots that they're trying to create. But if they're just doing a minor subdivision and they want to subdivide it and create 3 lots on there, to where they would get 6 units out of that and go ahead with that process and figure out the access, that's only about 3 to 4 weeks.
Now, the zoning, so you can't split this as an A1. The zoning has, you have to minimum lot size that would preclude splitting it. So you have to zone it first, see if that actually happens, and then if it does, they would come back with a split or whatever it is they want to do, so.
Right, the current 1 unit is just because it's 1 lot. That,
Yes.
it's not saying they're going to do that. There's no what they're going to do yet. We're just rezoning. That's all we're doing right now.
Yes.
We have no idea, yeah, because R4 would have given us more options, but it didn't pass. Okay, thank
Any other comments or questions? If not, I will entertain a motion. If there's no motion,
Mr. Chair, the Planning Commission is required to either forward this to is required to forward this to the Board of Directors with either a recommendation of approval or denial.
okay. So, again, I will entertain a motion for either.
And I think we got to work with the guy. I think, yeah, we've approved it once as R4, so to reduce the density, I mean, effectively, we're approving less density at this point. So to get this on the table, I would make a motion to approve RZ 2502.
Second.
Need that wording?
I can work with that wording. It's
is
typically
you
it would be a
told us
motion
this-
to forward to the Board of Directors with a recommendation to
With the
approve or deny.
recommendation for approval.
That's correct.
Okay. That work? Have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
McKinney,
Yes.
Sutton,
Yes.
Renard,
you. Yes.
K. Williams,
Yes.
T. Williams,
No.
Sally.
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion passes. RZ 2502 will go before the board on June 3rd, 2025. Next up, easement acceptances. Megan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Meagan Thomas, current planner. We just have one lot split for easement acceptance. It's at the 100 block of East Meadow Court, which you guys actually just looked at Meadow Court, so it's that same street. This is the part that connects to Mount Olive, though. So they're just doing a simple lot split and creating 2 separate lots, and you're just accepting the easements.
Any questions or comments? Do I have a motion to accept the easements as presented?
I make a motion to accept the easements as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Do we have to have a voice, roll call vote for that?
I believe so, yes.
Roll call, please.
Sutton,
Yes.
Renard,
Yes.
K. Williams,
Yes.
T. Williams.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. Sally,
Yes.
McKinney.
Yes.
Next up, board and staff approved permits. I think we're still on Megan.
My apologies, I pulled her to a sidebar.
So sorry. Okay, so we only have, on the May 20th, we have the first reading for the 3017 North Hyco Street easement vacate. We also have 2 easement vacates that were submitted this month that will be having their hearing dates set at the May 20th board meeting as well. So a lot of vacates on that May 20th. And then for staff announcements, there's no Plan Development Review Committee meeting tonight. We didn't receive any of those submittals this month. And then there's no Board of Adjustments. No variances were received as well. And then I believe Ben is going to give us a UDC update.
Yes, Ben Rhoads, Senior Planner. What we're doing right now is getting the last bit of comments from the stakeholders. And we're counting stakeholders are really the practitioners, the people that use these codes on a routine basis for development projects, things of that nature. So we're gathering their comments and identifying people that meet with one-on-one to kind of cover their comments. And then the big announcement too, if you guys are available, is a board workshop on the evening of May the 20th. I believe that's going to be at 5:30. Is that what Christina stated? I believe it's 5:30, but it'll be on the agenda when it's posted for the board. But that workshop will be to just give a brief overview of the Unified Development Code, going to do the first kickoff of the approval process and getting them informed what this is about, and if anyone hadn't been plugged into the meetings or such up to this point. But that will be happening on May 20th, and we'll be getting a lot of feedback, from that meeting as to the next steps and how we go about the final approval process. But that's basically the update right now. So,
Mr. Chair, I did want to highlight the importance of our stakeholders providing our feedback through our stakeholders questionnaire. That questionnaire is going to be how we select our one-on-one interviews with our stakeholders, is determined by who submits the questionnaire back to us.
And I'll just add to that, the survey closes on June 2nd, I think, is when that closes. It's middle day, so yeah, June 2nd is when that will close.
Any questions or comments on any of that? If not, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.